SuperTalk.fm. Also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app. We hope you have downloaded that. It is free to do so. It's also free to find us on your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station and watch us on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. And our SuperTalk Mississippi news team, as I tell you all the time, they are covering your Mississippi stories and doing such a great job. They would love for you to stay up to date. You can sign up for their free weekly newsletter. It comes out on Fridays. You just sign up over at supertalk.fm/newsletter. And Caleb is joining us today to tell us some good headlines. It's not a Monday, but we still need to start. It's the Mondayest Tuesday ever, so I figure like this fits.
And as I always say, it's the last Tuesday of the week. So y'all live it up. Last Tuesday of the week. Yeah. We don't have another one this week.
Friday's going to be here before we know it. But before we get started, you actually named a pet after somebody on at least TV. You may not have been an actual celebrity. So what is your celebrity pet naming story?
So Corey, the beloved brother of Raven, and That's So Raven, had a pet named Lionel, and I had a hamster growing up that I also named Lionel. And ironically, I have a dog that I adopted recently named Jax, and I'm credentialed for Ole Miss. I've gone to Ole Miss games my whole life. People automatically assume that I named him after Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart, who's now with the New York Giants. No, my girlfriend named him after Jackson because I lived in Jackson. I live in Jackson, Mississippi. But it's funny though when I'll tell people about my dogs, and I'm like, yeah, I got a dog named Jax. They're like, of course you do, Caleb. You named him after that daggum quarterback. I'm like, no, guys. It's more after geography and. Because my girlfriend, God bless her, she's not the one keeping up with all the players and names and everything.
Well, that's like me. So when we named our latest boxer Boomer, of course, and they were, everybody went to football. And it's like, I was like, I don't care less about Boomer, so whatever that, it has absolutely nothing to do with football. It's bad Boomer, to be honest. Like it just rolls right off of your tongue. Okay, still cute though. Lionel's a great name for a pet, I think. Okay, let's talk good headlines. Lots of good stuff been going on over at SuperTalk.fm. Caleb, fill us in.
So the Mississippi Mud Monsters ended year number 1 on a high note. They ended the year with a 49-47 record, so a winning record to end the first season. That didn't make the playoffs. It was tough in their side of the league, the Frontier League. However, we were assured that there will be more baseball in Trustmark Park going into next year.
Was that always up for like a toss-up?
Well, the club ownership never specifically said. There's no contract that we know of how long the team is going to be in Trustmark Park. And, with the Braves upending everything a year ago, we were all like, uh-oh. So
I didn't know that. I'd have been more nervous.
So, but no. The club officials were like, no, not only are we glad to be back next year, but we're very appreciative to the fans for making this a success, a resounding success this season. And in the offseason, I'll get to the offseason in a minute, but there were some cool things about the Mud Monsters this year, too. It was the first ever professional club to have a pitcher who was 7'2" tall. That's crazy, right? A 7'2" pitcher
steps out and gets to home plate. Yeah.
Well, you'd think of a guy like that playing basketball, but no. James Borey is the tallest pitcher in recorded professional baseball history. He was playing here in Pearl, Mississippi this year. But the Mud Monsters didn't stop there. They went and signed another guy. Went and signed Brandon Thiels, who pitched at Louisiana Tech and a couple of other schools in college. 7 foot even. So now the first ever professional baseball team to have not one but 2 7-footers on its roster.
I wonder where they get their britches. They have to special order. And not only do they need 1 pair, they need 2 pairs. That's cool.
Might have to call David Kerr, my friend who's the assistant GM there at the Mud Monsters, ask him about that. But it's crazy though, because you'll see baseball players typically are shorter than athletes in other sports, right? You'll see big offensive and defensive linemen for football, forwards and centers in basketball that are standing 6'5" and taller, and then you've got baseball players like shortstops and second basemen are like between 5'10", maybe 6 foot. And then you see these mountains right here, these 2 7-footers. It was kind of intimidating being up close and personal, watching them from the mound. I'm like, wow, these guys are pretty big. I couldn't imagine being in the batter's box having someone that tall throwing to me, because that ball probably looks like it's going 150. But yeah, and the team, it wasn't just the team, but the operating staff too was very fun, integrating good music, the chicken dance, your typical take me out to the ball game, 7th inning stretch. But making baseball fun in Central Mississippi, something that, at the tail end of the Braves, and I'm not denigrating what the Mississippi Braves did, but it just didn't seem as fun. They started charging for parking. Concessions were ridiculous. The in-game entertainment wasn't great. The Mud Monsters didn't do any of that. No parking, no charging for parking. You didn't have to pay a price to park your vehicle. Concessions were not unreasonable. And then there was constant festivities throughout the game, and it was really cool. And the team... I believe it was David Kerr that wrote this, but posted on social media this really beautiful quote thanking Central Mississippi and the people here for attending the games and making them fun. And here's a quote that they posted on social media. "You chanted beer until it shook the press box. You screamed bingo until your cards tore. You laughed when the mystery sausages showed up and ate them anyway. You reminded us who Hulk Hogan was. You shouted woo for Ric Flair. You told the story of Chuck Norris breaking our scoreboard. You devoured apple pies on the 4th of July and ate enough gumbo and fried catfish to shame a county fair." And this was all these things happened. I mean, at one point, the scoreboard wasn't working during a game, and so they just had a blank scoreboard, and the PA announcer was having to give the score and stats. And then the scoreboard kind of started working where it was mostly functional, like 80% of the screen was showing, so they had to kind of have like a manufactured template on there. But they remember the joke, oh yeah, Chuck Norris came to Mississippi and broke our scoreboard, and just really, really entertaining times, and something that's good to do to fill the gap between, when we don't have football season, which is kind of the crown jewel of Mississippi, and thank goodness it returned this past weekend. And so, year one for the Mud Monsters was a resounding success. But one of the things I thought was really cool, Rebecca, was when the officials first announced that there was a new team coming after the Braves. They also said that Trustmark Park wouldn't just be used for baseball. It will be a multi-purpose venue. And that's my transition here. We're going to have a cool festival, Christmas festival this year. It's called the Southern Lights. And so Trustmark Park will not be a baseball venue at that point. It'll be a winter wonderland with literally millions of lights, ice skating, and you got s'mores, hot chocolate. They're going to have like festival rides like you'd see at the fairs and stuff. Yeah. And I love my friends at Canton Lights, but they're going to have some competition this year with this. I watched the promotional video, and you can find it on our website, supertalk.fm/lifestyle. And it's really incredible and looks like it's going to be very professionally done.
I can't believe we're talking about Christmas. But it's like less than 4 months away.
Oh my goodness.
Here we go. Yeah.
I mean, I've already seen all the Halloween stuff flooding into the local stores.
But it's cool when you see people repurposing buildings like that and using them for other things. Why go radio silent for several months? Keep people coming back to your facility. They'll keep coming back to your baseball.
And I'm sure our friends at the amphitheater won't love this, but you could probably expect to see more concerts. I know Miranda Lambert had one at Trustmark Park last year, and it drew a good crowd, and I'd be shocked if they don't integrate more, community-friendly festivities into the ballpark. Again, right. Why just use it for baseball when it could be used for other things? This is a bad example because this was also used for baseball, but Mississippi State at Dudy Noble Park, they had the Party Animals, one of the teams in the Banana League. And did you see videos from that event?
It had to be sold out.
It was, not only sold out, it was packed. It looked like the Mississippi State Bulldogs were hosting a postseason game, like a super regional, with people getting into it. People were cooking in Left Field Lounge. Our friend Brian Haydad was there and was talking about how incredible it was. And having stuff like that in here in Central Mississippi and in other parts of the state is so crucial when people are hungry for things to do.
Yeah, so I'm saying I think there's room for all of it to come. People will pick and choose, and I don't think it'll steal from anything. Anytime you can get people excited about other activities, I think is a good thing. And
in Christmas time too, we typically lack the weather needed to have a winter wonderland. So
let's not wish that upon us, okay?
But having a venue that's pumping in snow, even though it's fake. I remember the Harbor Lights in Gulfport did that last year because I went to the aquarium. They did the aquarium at night, walked right across the highway because they have a bridge that connects to the Harbor Lights. They were pumping in fake snow, but no one cared. Everybody was loving it. The kids especially were just on cloud nine. But and having that here, in Central Mississippi would be really cool because that's something that we lack. Is just a lot of themed festivities. I mean, the Canton Lights is great. We have stuff, but
and I find families will do all of it.
Right.
I mean, they're looking for, they're looking for something to do on the weekends, and so they'll support it all. They'll go to their favorites, and they'll try something new.
And this is going to start in November. November 21st is the start date, and it'll end sometime in early January. That date hasn't been specifically announced, so there will be plenty of time for people to do everything. And I will say I'm a big-time Christmas consumer, so I will be doing all of it and probably like 3 or 4 times.
Do you already have plans to put your Christmas tree up come November 1st?
No, I'm actually pretty bad at procrastinating on that.
If it's September 1st, I wonder who all has their Halloween already changed, or fall, and all the things. I know there's somebody out there that already put up their pumpkins.
My grandparents are probably thinking about it right now.
September 1st, and people are like, it is fair game. It is basically fall. Okay, people, go where for all the good headlines?
SuperTalk.fm/lifestyle.
I love that. All right, you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming.